All praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to all brothers pushing this work in sincerity and truth. It's brother Tamar from Jimmy's Toronto, coming at you with another video. Let's get Proverbs 6. Actually, you know what? Let's get First Ezra. I was reading this last night, and it goes into a little bit about the history of our kings, right? Josiah, and how he held the biggest feast, the biggest Passover that Israel has ever seen, right? But then when you go down, his son, right? His son, he stayed loyal. His son, I think he dropped down to his son. Who's his son? I think his son was Josiah did not turn back the chariot. So Josiah died, and his son came into succession, right? And then he got overtaken by the Egyptian king at that time. He reigned. Right. Okay. So Josiah's son, and the people took Joachaz, the son of Josiah, and made him king instead of Josias, his father. Instead of. Right, that's Old English. When he was 23 years old, and he reigned in Judah and in Jerusalem 3 months, and then the king of Egypt disposed him from the reigning in Jerusalem. So the Lord is the one who was orchestrating all of this, right? The king of Egypt also made Joachim, his brother, king of Judah and Jerusalem. Why? Because Joachim was a puppet leader, right? Just like now, you have our puppet leaders, right? He took the so-called bag, and he bound Joachim and the nobles, but Zerachus, his brother, he apprehended and brought him out of Egypt. So the reason why he did this is because just in case his brother were to rebel, then he'll kill his brother, right? So that was just a ransom, pretty much. Just like how when the kings of Judah were taken down. So this was coming to the end of us being that power. Like having everything in order, having the Ark of Covenant, right? Everything's set up. Solomon's temple was still there. This was when he had everything. So this was the end of us, because we were already scattered throughout the four corners, right, into known kingdoms, and we were going off then. So just because you have the Judites in the land, right, doing the right thing for the most part, the rest of the tribes are going off, right? So this thing needs to be a 12-tribe thing, not some in, some out back then. Now the Lord is gathering back his 1/3, and 2/3 gonna die, right? So 520 years old, Salakia, right? So he bound Zerachus, right? So you know how brothers are when especially if they were close. Well, most likely they're close, and then his brother got apprehended and held for ransom. He's gonna have to pay his tithes, right? 520 years old, and Joachim went when he was king in the land of Judah and Jerusalem, and he did evil before the Lord. So here comes Nebuchadnezzar, right? King of Babylon. Wherefore against him Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, came up and bound him with a chain of brass and carried him into Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar also took of the holy vessels, so this is I'm not too sure if the Ark of Covenant was here, and carried them away and set them in his own temple at Babylon, right? So this was the Babylonians, they were into all manner of evil, witchcraft and all that stuff. So our holy things were taken away, and the Lord did that, right? But those that are recorded of him and his uncleanness and impiety are written in the Chronicles of Kings. So all the things that this nigga did, you know, so that's how you know that there's no such thing as hell, man. Because when you go into the book of Chronicles, it tells you he slept with his fathers, right? And Joachim, his son, reigned in his stead, and he was named king, being 18 years old, and reigned but 3 months and 10 days in Jerusalem, and did evil before the Lord, right? So that means he was already doing whatever he was doing, because he was probably raised up in the same custom as his father, right? So 3 months and he was already recorded doing evil, 18 years old. So after a year, Nebuchadnezzar sent and caused him to be brought into Babylon with his holy vessels of the Lord, and made Zacharias king of Judah and Jerusalem. So the Lord was using the king of Babylon as a whooping stick, man, as his sword, to put these kings back in shape and followed his way, when he was 21 years old, and he reigned 11 years. And he did evil also in the sight of the Lord. So he went off now, and cared not for the words that were spoken unto him by the prophets Jeremiah, from the word of the Lord, from the mouth of the Lord. And after the king Nebuchadnezzar had made him to swear by the name of the Lord, he forsook himself and rebelled, and hardened his neck, his heart. He transgressed the laws of the Lord, power of Israel. The governors also of the people and the priests did many things against the laws, and passed all the way pollution, so I can pass all the pollutions of all nations, and defiled the temple of the Lord, which was sanctified in Jerusalem. So they became more wicked than the wicked. And for a great example, even when Daniel was young, to show you how wicked these niggas was already starting to be, when they were trying to get Susanna killed or murdered. Nevertheless, the power of their father sent by his messengers to call them back, because he spared them and his tabernacle also. But they had his messengers in derision, and look, when the Lord spake unto them, and they made a sport of his prophets. Just like now, right? We're here calling on these people, our people, in this kingdom, Babylon the Great, and they're making fun of us. They make sport of us to talk all manner of evil, trying to put names on us, titles, right? Mainly the men of GMS and the men that are following the true doctrine of the Lord, right? They're making sport of us. So far forth that he, being wroth with his people for their great ungodliness, commanded the kings of the Chaldees to come up against them, who slew their young men but with the sword. So this is the only way Jake usually learn, when they see blood. Yeah, even within the compass of their holy temple, and spared neither young man nor maid. So women, children, old men, old women were getting destroyed. They were getting murdered, right? Just because the Lord said so, man. Old men nor children among them, for he delivered into their hands. So this was when they go into Babylon, okay? And they took all the holy vessels of the Lord, everything that everything that's mentioned in the time of Moses that the Lord made, he gave it unto the Babylonians, both great and small, with the vessels of the ark of God. So that even the ark of covenant, the Lord probably even free it up so that they can touch it, right? Who knows? But they took it, and the king's treasures, and carried them away into Babylon. So that's our history of what happened in the time of the Babylonians, and when we went off. So even on a greater scale, we don't even know where the Ark of Covenant is right now. At least we knew it was in Babylon back then, but the Lord destroyed us even way more than this. 70 AD, right? So just a little brief look on why the Lord did what he did to us in the time of Babylonia and in the time of this Babylon. All praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushua Shalom.